What's up? Good mic work back at you with a very quick and casual Raw recap for the July 27th, 2015 edition of Monday Night Raw. I almost skipped doing a review on this show because it was kind of, I don't want to use the word throwaway Raw because I thought the show was decent and it had a very interesting main event. But as far as the build for SummerSlam, we already had Brock and Taker on the show last week. The big brawl, you knew they were going to take a week off from that to give us a breather. I think one or both of them will be on the show next week. So this week, WWE pretty much was kind of laying the foundation for the rest of the card for SummerSlam, and I wasn't expecting anything that crazy to come out of the show, but I have a little time here, it's late at night, and I can put up a quick review. So I'll go through the show, a little bit of what we saw. Of course, all week long, we've all been dealing with the fallout of the Hulk Hogan situation and his racist rant that was leaked from his sex tape. I did a video on that a couple of days ago and gave my thoughts on it. The link to that video is in the description, on the screen, and it's on my channel, so check it out if you have not yet already. And things don't look like they're getting any better for poor Hulk. More of the transcript has been released, and I think even the audio is now available. I have not listened to it, but apparently it's out there, so I'll probably check that out in the near future as well. But Hogan is in a world of shit, and it's a mess, and it sucks. WWE has had to completely wipe him out of everything that they do. The website, Tough Enough, even a movie or something that he's in that they're going to have to edit now. And I also heard that Stone Cold's podcast on the WWE Network that's going to air next week after Monday Night Raw, his special guest will be Paige. Apparently it was supposed to be Hulk Hogan. Now that really disappoints me because I would have loved to hear that podcast because I always find the relationship between Austin and Hogan very interesting. I've always gotten the impression that Austin just does not like Hogan. He's never really come out and said, I hate this motherfucker, but you know Hogan has never been one of Austin's favorite people. So I thought it would have been really cool to see Hulk Hogan on that podcast and see these two guys in this stage of their life just, cordially discussing shit with each other and trying to sweep any heat that they might have had under the rug. And I was really looking forward to it. But Hogan, of course, because of what happened, is no longer going to be doing that. And Austin is going to have Paige on the show. A lot of people were really surprised, and yours truly included. I'm surprised that Paige is the one that they've selected. I understand that they have to have a tough enough person on there, but, what in the fuck can Stone Cold possibly have in common with Paige? She's like 20 years old. Do you realize that Paige is younger than The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak? She was born in 1992. What the hell are these two going to talk about? But at the same time, part of me has to wonder if this podcast will actually be good, because sometimes when you think something like this isn't going to be good, it turns out to surprise us. So maybe, Paige and Austin can have a nice little interview, and I'll check it out. I just kind of wish the name that Austin was bringing on the show, especially since it's going to be airing on the WWE Network, would be a little bit bigger and more important of a name, and maybe someone who's put a few more years in the business than Paige, who is barely old enough to drink. Let's move on to Raw. Not a whole lot went down on the show that was significant, except for a couple of matches. One of them is the main event. I'll get to the main event and John Cena's nose now being located next to his ear in just a minute. But we have to start out with the Authority opening up the show. They come out there with Seth Rollins and they make the big announcement, which we already knew. It was leaked before Monday Night Raw, but SummerSlam apparently is going to be a 4-hour show. I've got no problem with that. It's a big show. It's heavily promoted. It's going to be in New York City or in Brooklyn, and WWE has really gone out of their way to make SummerSlams good in the past few years. So I think that's a great idea. 4 hours, no problem. I think Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series should all be 4 hours. I think there needs to be something that sets those 4 big pay-per-views apart from all of the other ones, since they have so much history in the WWE. So I would like to see them go 4 hours on the 4 majors and then just go to 3 hours on the other ones. So far for SummerSlam, not much of a card yet. All we have is Brock and Taker, and we might have another match. We probably do. It just hasn't been announced yet, and that, of course, is going to be Cena and Rollins, but we'll get into that in a minute. I just want to blow through some of the matches that took place on Monday Night Raw. Nothing too crazy. Big Show defeated Dean Ambrose, I think, via countout. We had 2 Divas matches, which was great. Sasha Banks tapped out Paige, and Charlotte and Becky Lynch beat Nikki Bella and Alicia Fox, and I think Becky made Alicia tap out. So those NXT girls are not fucking around, and they mean business. And I was laughing because I was thinking to myself, wow, I can't remember the last time I sat there and watched 2 Divas matches in their entirety during Monday Night Raw. I'm usually up taking a shit, going to the bathroom, getting a beer, something like that. I'm not paying attention at all, but it's really nice to see this new life being breathed into the Divas division, and those 3 girls coming in like that have been doing great things. I'm sure we're looking at something major for SummerSlam, and I'm kind of torn. I think SummerSlam is a really good place for Nikki to drop the belt because I think that would be memorable, but what do you do in that situation? Do you put her one-on-one with Charlotte, or do you make it a multi-diva match to where a lot of girls can get some SummerSlam exposure? You can put Sasha in there, you can put Becky Lynch in there, maybe a couple others, have a big match to where all of them get a little bit of a rub. If not, you can always have 2 Divas matches. What's wrong with that? that? Put Nikki in the ring with Charlotte defending her title on the pay-per-view and give the other girls a match on the pre-show or a match in the lower card. Since it's 4 hours, you can probably afford to do that. So, maybe there's a way for a lot of these divas, or a lot of the new divas anyway, to get involved. We also had Neville scoring a victory over Fandango. I think the Matadors might have beat the Lucha Dragons, or the other way around. I can't even remember who won that match. You had the primetime players out there doing commentary for it, which was pretty funny. I always love hearing those guys talk and do their thing. So, the tag team division, whatever. At this point, I just hope the primetime players hold the belts a little longer. We had a hilarious and bizarre segment between Rusev and Summer and Lana. Rusev comes out there. Of course, Dolph Ziggler's still on the shelf. He comes out there just to sing the praises of Summer, how she's so hot and obedient, and he loves her, and he decides to buy her presents. He gets a box. She opens the box. Fucking dog. She picks the dog up, and I'm thinking to myself, God, I hope that dog pees on her. I would do anything if that dog pisses right on her face. But it didn't. She put the dog down and it ran away. And then he gets out another present, gets another box out, and it's a fucking fish. What the fuck is going on here? He pulls out this giant fish with the head chopped off, and he's like, take the fish. The fish is for you. I'm laughing my ass off, like, what is the fucking point of this? And then Lana comes out, does a run-in the fish and dog segment, comes out there and, what'd she do? Slap around Summer or something like that, and then storms off. She was wearing those hot, sexy red high heel shoes. She looked amazing. Kicked Summer's ass around the ring and then got out of there. So that was pretty funny shit. I'm sure we're going to be seeing Ziggler show back up on TV any minute, and I'm guessing that we're going to get Ziggler and Rusev at SummerSlam. In one of the more interesting matches of the night that they announced before Monday Night Raw, I was really excited to see this match, Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. I'm like, sweet, another opponent for Kevin Owens, somebody different, and plus, given Owens' reputation among the internet fans and what he's done on the indies, you love to see him come in there and work with guys like Orton and Cena and shit like that. He just had that long run with Cena, and now he's working a match with Orton. And a lot of fans were like freaking out, but I was like, don't worry, this is going to be some sort of a schmaz, clusterfuck, DQ type of ending because Orton is locked up with his feud with Sheamus, and Sheamus is definitely going to be doing a run-in or something like that. What ended up happening is Sheamus did commentary, and as soon as he came out there for commentary, I'm like, I'm glad we're seeing this match and everything because it's a match that we've never seen ever. Owens and Orton have never faced each other, at least on TV. I don't know if maybe they crossed paths on a house show in the last few months or not, but as far as us as fans viewing this match, we've never seen it. So I was all for it, but as soon as Sheamus was out there, I was like, well, you can throw away any sort of a clean winner here. Sheamus is obviously going to get involved and continue his feud with Randy Orton. What I was hoping is that Sheamus would come in and, fuck Randy Orton up and allow Kevin Owens to score a victory over him. That's not exactly what happened, but it was close. I think it was a disqualification or something like that, but Owens still was the one standing strong at the end, laid everybody out, his music played, and he left and all that shit. So it was a little disappointing that the ending was pretty much spoiled before the match even took place, but still, it was still an interesting match to see. I don't know what direction they're going to go with Kevin Owens going into SummerSlam, who he's going to be feuding with. He's probably going to be hooking up with Cesaro, and is that so bad? We all love Cesaro, we all love Kevin Owens. Isn't that going to be an awesome feud, wouldn't you think? That should be a beautiful thing to watch. Now, let's move on to the main event here. The main event was announced earlier on in the night. John Cena defending his United States Championship against the WWE Champion Seth Rollins in the main event. Now, this match I thought would most likely set up what will be a WWE title match for John Cena at SummerSlam. And I know a lot of people are not happy about that, and they were even less happy with the match. But before the match took place, I took to Twitter and said, you know what? John Cena's probably going to win tonight, and he's probably going to win clean because they want to set up the SummerSlam match. If Seth goes out there and beats him, what's the fucking point of having the match? And it all goes back to that big picture thing that I always talk about. And when I saw the finish of that match and John Cena tapped out Seth Rollins like that, a big smile came to my face because I'm like, okay, now it is a virtual guarantee that John Cena will not be walking out of SummerSlam as the WWE champion. And to go one better, you know what else is going to happen? He's going to lose. Here's what I thought would originally happen. I thought he would just have a match with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins would escape with the belt like he's done at a few pay-per-views and just barely get away. But I don't know if that's going to happen this time. I would not be surprised at all if Seth Rollins beats John Cena at SummerSlam clean. Now, it might not be completely clean. There might be some interference or whatever. Who the fuck cares? The bottom line is Seth Rollins will still be the WWE champion the day after SummerSlam. So you can rest your little heads and sleep well at night. John Cena will not be winning the WWE title. I mentioned last time that I think Cena is more in this position just to give Seth Rollins an opponent. WWE still has that mentality mentality. I know a lot of fans want to see Kevin Owens get a title shot 12 weeks after he's been in the company. Everybody wants to see Cesaro in there. They think it should be a four-way with Rollins and Cesaro and Owens and Cena. WWE's not going to do that for SummerSlam. They might do it for Night of Champions or Hell in the Cell or Battleground or Paybacks or shit like that, but they're not going to do it at SummerSlam. They need Seth to defeat a major opponent here. And John Cena, after he just had that big program with Kevin Owens, he looked great. He's been a strong, solid United States champion. He's made that belt more important than it has ever been in the WWE's existence. Since they brought that belt into the company, it's never meant more than it means right now. And to be honest, I got to give Rusev some credit for that too. I mean, he had a very lengthy U.S. title run. How long did he hold that belt? It was months. Cena's now got it and has held it for several months, defending it week after week on television and really put the focus on that belt. So between the two of them, they really gave that belt a boost. But as far as the SummerSlam match goes, there is no way John Cena's going to win the WWE title. And, the match on Raw was kind of spoiled. John Cena's putting his belt on the line against Seth Rollins. What sense would it make to have Seth Rollins beat John Cena? So I thought as soon as the match was announced, we knew John Cena was going to win because there's no way Seth Rollins is going to win the U.S. title. But the biggest story of this match was what happened to John Cena. Damn, his nose was completely destroyed. He's probably never going to look the same again. I gotta hand it to the guy, man. I don't know if any of you have had your nose broken. I cannot imagine what John Cena must look like today. He's probably got two black eyes. Has there been any pictures or anything like that on Twitter? I have not been home all day to see this shit, and I haven't looked at the wrestling news in, since yesterday, so I don't know what the hell's going on with Cena, but I can imagine he is in a world of fucking pain right now. The way his nose was all bent sideways and on the side of his face, imagine what they had to do to reset the nose and do all that. Oh my God. That had to be the worst fucking experience and so unbelievably painful. And props to John Cena. I know a lot of people hate him. I mean, I have to say, I actually have to give the fans a little bit of credit. After the match on Monday Night Raw, even though he won, and even though he made somebody tap out, which normally would make a lot of Cena haters' heads explode, a lot of people, they couldn't resist, giving him credit for that, man. That's a tough son of a bitch right there to get busted that badly, have his face demolished that badly, and still continue the match for another 5-7 minutes was unbelievable. Definitely that's going to rank up there as one of the more graphic and nasty injuries that we've seen on live TV. I mean, forget about the blood. Just look at the way his nose was bent and crooked on the side of his face. It looked horrible. So, you can say what you want about John Cena. You can give him all the fucking hell in the world, but it takes a tough motherfucker to go through that and do what he did instead of just calling for an early finish. He didn't do that. They might have gone home a little bit early, but he still had time to do a lot more offense, and he hit that stupid-ass springboard stunner, which I've really started to hate. I don't like that move at all. I wish he would quit using it. And then the finish, I think Rollins missed his finisher from the top rope where he does a flip or whatever and lands right on his stomach, and then John Cena just pounced right on him, put him in the STF, and tapped him out. And it was one of Cena's better-looking STFs that actually looked believable this time. He was intense, he was screaming, he cinched up, he pulled back on that thing, and Seth had no choice but to tap. I think this is a way of building up his WWE title reign legacy. I know a lot of people think he's not booked very strong and shit like that, but it's sort of true. I mean, Seth is a smaller guy. He's also a douchebag, or at least his character is. He can be a very whiny and very scared little champion, although he did exhibit a little bit of bravery in his match with Brock Lesnar and other things like that. He beat Dean Ambrose straight up in that ladder match. So he's had some moments, but if you put a couple of opponents in front of him, and if he is successful, or if he is able to escape a guy like Brock Lesnar and John Cena back-to-back without losing his belt, that's just going to give the guy more bragging rights. So that's what I believe the WWE is doing here. Seth Rollins will definitely beat him, and I'll give my predictions on that as we get closer to the pay-per-view. But right now, from 3 weeks away from the pay-per-view, there is no way in hell, in my mind, I can see John Cena winning the WWE title. They've invested a lot in Seth Rollins. You have to look at how he won that belt. He closed out WrestleMania 31 in one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history, won that belt in shocking fashion, and you don't just end that by putting the belt back on Cena. You don't do that. For everybody out there that thinks I defend Cena, you are full of fucking shit. Trust me, the last thing in the world that good mic work wants to see is John Cena winning the WWE title at SummerSlam. Sheamus is still the wild card. Sheamus could show his face at SummerSlam in an attempt to cash in, but again, same deal for Sheamus as Seth Rollins. Not only do I not want to see Seth Rollins lose the WWE title in the middle of a pay-per-view, I don't want to see Sheamus win it in the middle of a pay-per-view either. So I think this match is just put together to give us a strong WWE title match, and that's it. Don't read too much into it. This is merely positioning for the WWE. They want to give Rollins some strong opponents, somebody other than Dean Ambrose and shit like that. I still think they're holding off Roman Reigns, keeping him busy with a feud with Bray Wyatt until they're ready for him. Sheamus is the Money in the Bank holder and shit like that. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens on Raw next week. I know the SmackDown's tapings happened, I believe, today or tonight. So you guys can fill me in on that. I don't even know if John Cena was on the show or if he showed his face. I can imagine what he looked like. But I think next week after Monday Night Raw, Brock Lesnar is going to be on the show, and they should maybe formally announce the WWE title match, because another thing I thought they would do on Monday night was make a stipulation like, okay, John Cena's U.S. title is on the line, but they should also make the stipulation where if he beats Seth Rollins, then he gets a title shot at SummerSlam. I thought for sure that's what they were going to do. I'm guessing we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. I'm guessing we're going to get Sheamus versus Randy Orton. I'm guessing we're going to get Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. I'm guessing we're going to get Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler. We'll probably get a Divas title match, a tag team title match, and that's probably going to be your card for SummerSlam. So I think it'll be a solid show. I've got no problem with the show right now. A lot of people are still talking about Undertaker and Brock Lesnar and how they don't agree with the match and they're not going to like it. I, in part, agree with that. Yes, Brock Lesnar, he's so strong right now, and he's he's my favorite thing on the WWE roster. And I will agree with the people out there that say they really don't want to see Brock Lesnar get beat. Now, I'm not going to subscribe to the theory that if Brock Lesnar loses to The Undertaker that he was buried. What are you talking about? The Undertaker is one of the greatest icons in this business. There is no shame in losing to The Undertaker. I don't give a fuck how old he is. But with that being said, I'm still not too crazy about the idea of Brock Lesnar getting beaten by The Undertaker clean. At least give us some interference from Kane or something like that, to where if Brock Lesnar loses, it's not completely clean. Who knows? Even if it is clean, I won't fucking care. It's just as strong as Brock is right now. He's such an attraction. He's such a major draw, and he draws so much fucking money. Don't beat him right now. And a lot of fans say, hey, if you do beat him, shouldn't it be to launch someone else or to get someone else over? I can see the logic in that for sure. Put him in there with a Kevin Owens or someone like that. Help make somebody, by having them beat Brock Lesnar. But, at the same time, I'm never going to criticize anything that The Undertaker did. I respect The Undertaker probably more than anybody else I ever have in the history of professional wrestling. So if this guy's going to go out there and beat Brock Lesnar, fine. I don't have to be happy about it, but I sure as shit am not going to complain about it. So that's it for this week. I got to get out of here. I've got a busy week. I got a lot of shit going on. I will be up here next week after Raw. We'll have a much better idea of what we're looking at for SummerSlam by then. I'm sure a few matches will be announced. Brock Lesnar will be on the show. Who knows? The Undertaker may be as well. And there should be a lot more to talk about, and I'm sure a lot more Hulk Hogan news will be flying in the next several days as well. So I'll catch you guys in about a week. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you after Monday Night Raw. Until then, peace.